Oh, hi there. Thanks for showing up for your learning. It's me, Mr. Jennings, and we are taking a look at, let me bring up our topic here. It's very exciting, solving equations. So let's go ahead and gather some questions that you're going to be looking at from the Delta Math, and we will show you how they are answered. Today's topic really requires us to understand something called inverse operations. I'll be showing them algebraically, and I'll be talking about how to visualize them as you go. Really, if you think of the equal sign as a scale and things are balanced on either side, and we can make certain moves to keep things balanced, that's basically what we're looking at. So let's go. When we have questions like this, these are one-step equations where we must add and subtract to solve them. So again, we copy out our question here. I'm going to start up in the corner, 3. Why is that not working? 3 is equal to u plus 4. Okay, so u is some number that when I add it to 4, I get 3. Maybe I can't look at that and see that number right away. So this is what I do. I go ahead and get out my inverse operations pen. This means I'm going to do the same thing to both sides of the equal sign, and I'm choosing to subtract 4. The reason I chose to do that is because over here, I was adding 4. And the opposite of adding 4 is subtract 4. Together, those things will go to 0, right? Like if I start at 0 and I give you 4 apples and then I take 4 apples away, sorry to say, you now have 0 apples, even though for a brief period of time you had 4 of them. So that's what we do. All right, let's bring this in so that I can be really loud. All right, so anyway, so now I do the opposite, right, to both sides. And in this case, the opposite is subtract 4. So now I work this down another line. 3 minus 4, that's minus 1, is equal to u comes down. And then plus 4 minus 4 comes down as plus 0. I don't write that. I'm 43 plus 0 years old. I don't need to add the plus 0. So let's go. Minus 1 equals u. Now I know what u was and still is. And then if I look up here, I can figure out, I can put that into that equation and see if it's true. This is how you would test your answer. Write it out. 3 equals minus 1 plus 4. That was u. I put it in there. Minus 1 plus 4 is indeed 3. 3 equals 3 every day of the week. So u is minus 1. So we want to know what u is. U is minus 1. And the fun thing is that's not a grammatical error in this case. U is minus 1. Let's go. Okay, let's look at a new one. All right, 2 equals w plus 9. Well, if I subtract 9 from both sides, I get minus 7 over there. I check it. Minus 7 plus 9 is indeed 2. Okay? See, they do the same thing. Subtract 9 from both sides, work it down. Minus 7 is w. Let's look at another one. 3 is equal to w plus 3. Well, w is 0. Subtract 3 from both sides. 0 is w. 0 plus 3 is indeed 3. Okay, let's look at another one. Negative 4 plus r is 8. Okay, here, this one I want to do on my page. Boop, 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 copy it out. We always copy the question. Minus 4 plus r equals 8. And I do the opposite of minus 4, which is plus 4. And I do that to both sides of my equation. And then I get the next line, which is a lovely line. It's a terrific line, folks. It's the best line that there ever was. R equals 8 plus 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. R is 12. That's all you do. Your goal with these questions is to figure out the unknown number. And we do it by adding and subtracting the opposite. That's all, folks. Now, how about these ones where we need to use multiplication to solve it? Okay, it's very similar. And it's very similar in that we're just going to do the opposite thing. I'm going to copy out the question. 2u is equal to negative 8. Okay, and now I wonder, what is the opposite of this? Okay, so that's 2u's. That's 2 multiplied by. The opposite of that is to divide by 2. Okay? Multiplication and division are opposites in the same way that addition and subtraction are opposites. So what I'm going to do here is get my inverse operations pen out and divide both sides of this equation by 2. Okay? And when I do that, the equation stays balanced. If 2 elephants weigh 2 pounds, then 1 elephant weighs 1 pound, and them be some tiny elephants. That's not grammatically correct. But let's go. Okay. So here we have u. Oh, yo, yay. So I do this division, right? 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So I'm left with 1 u there. So u is equal to this result, negative 8 divided by 2. Well, negative 8 divided by 2, my calculator tells me it's negative 4. And my brain tells me it's negative 4. So I'm pretty confident. And then, how do I test my answer, Mr. Jennings? Oh, I love this student that asks the best questions. Okay, so if I want to test my answer, I just sub it in. I had 2u equals minus 8. But then I believe that u is minus 4, so I try that. 2 times minus 4, does that equal minus 8? Well, then my calculator says minus 8 on that side is equal to minus 8 on that side, and minus 8 is equal to minus 8 every day of the week, even on Fridays. So it's true. So that's what Delta Math is looking for, and that's the skill we're looking for to manipulate these expressions. I wrote the wrong number. It's minus 4. I wrote minus u. Oh my goodness. The only time when u equals minus u is when u equals 0. That's not even right. Okay, let's see. There's other problem types. Cool. Includes negatives, all positive. All right, sure. Let's look at an all positive one. Let's go. So 7w is equal to 35. I divide both sides by 7, and I find 35 divided by 7 is 5. That's correct. Let's look at a new problem that's like that. 30 equals 6 times s. So I divide both sides by 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. Hooray. Okay, so this is the skill. You want the skill like mental math. It should be very fast. If I have something like 38y equals, that's kind of a gross one, but I'm making a gross one. What can I say? This is going to be 276. I divide both sides by 38. And then this cancels that. Doesn't matter how big and gross the number is. Y is equal to 2, because that's the result of this division. This is how I write it, and this is how I do it. Okay, so as multiplication, let's look at the next level of multiplication. Solve for t. You must write your answer in fully simplified form. Oh my goodness, it's not going to give us an integer. We do it in the same way, and we're going to include our skills of simplifying fractions. So I copy out the question. 13 is equal to 2t. And then I get out my inverse operations pen. You don't have to use a different color pen. I'm just showing you that I'm making the decision to divide both sides by 2 because that will isolate this variable t. That variable is now alone, so I have an equation that looks like something equals t. And that's what I wanted to know. What does t equal? And well, it turns out t equals 13 over 2. Because 13 is not divisible by 2, I can just leave it like that. Or I could say 6.5 equals t, because that's what my calculator would tell me if I punch that in. But I think it wants 13 over 2. Yay. Now if I go in here, all positive or includes negative, sure. Okay, let's go. All right, that's a problem. There, that's a good one. All right, so let's do this one. 9r equals negative 6. So how do we do this one, Mr. Jennings? It's that student showing up again with great questions. 9r equals minus 6. Okay, so you get out your inverse operations pen. You say, I don't want 9r, I want just r. I know if I divide both sides by 9, those will cancel, and that will isolate my variable. My variable is now alone. Great. And so it's equal to negative 6 over 9. Fantastic. R is equal to negative 6 over 9. That can be simplified. Remember, you must write your answer in fully simplified form. So negative 6 over 9. Well, I could write negative 6 as negative 2 times 3. And I could write 9 as 3 times 3. And then you'll notice that I have to get out my cancellation pen because I got an extra factor 3 there. So I can write this as negative 2 over 3. Da, 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 da. What do they have here? Same thing, exactly the way I do it. They do it exactly the same way. Isn't that great? Cool. But they didn't show you that 6 is 2 times 3. So that looks a little mysterious when they go from here to here. But it's not. There's no mystery to it when you do it my way. I hope there's no mystery to it. If there's mystery, then ask me about it in class. So that's with multiplication, how we do that. So let's look at one-step equations with division. And these will be same process, just backwards. So here we go. Our first step. Oh, I remember the first step, Mr. Jennings. The first step is I copy out the answer. Copy out the question. Good. So minus 3 equals u divided by minus 2. Mr. Jennings, I think I'm getting this because I noticed that division was the opposite of multiplication. So wouldn't multiplication be the opposite of division? Yes, you are right. Here I multiply both sides by minus 2. Okay. And when I multiply by minus 2, then I get this thing happening here. See, minus 2 cancels minus 2. That isolates my variable. And then I have minus 2 multiplied by minus 3. That will be positive 6. 6 equals u. Mr. Jennings, how do we check our answers? Oh, it's just such great questions. I recopy the question here. Minus 3 equals u over minus 2. And then I believe that u is equal to 6. And so I verify, is this true? Minus 3 equals 6 divided by minus 2. If I do that, I will get minus 3 equals minus 3. And guess how many days of the week minus 3 is equal to minus 3? 7 of them. So, yeah. So it's correct. U is 6. Let's see if Delta Math agrees. Let's try not to write u equals u. U equals 6. U is 6. Cool. Includes negatives. Sure. No problem. All right. Negative 8 is equal to n over 2. So I multiply both sides by 2 and get negative 16. Negative 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. If you don't need to write these out, just practice running through a few of them so that you develop this instinct. Because we want these to be instincts for when we go to multi-step questions that involve many operations. So that's how we do the division ones. Oh, and another thing that you can do with these, of course, I have here b is negative 3 because I multiplied both sides by 3. And then I push enter. And then it shows me a solution. Multiply both sides of the equation by 3. Don't mind if I do. Simplify the left side. The fraction simplifies to 1. Simplify. They sure added a lot of extra steps. But it does help me understand where all this is coming from. Cool. All right. Minus 3 is indeed equal to b. Good. Now, these ones are in here as a kind of challenge for you to see if you know how to one-step. Not to see if you know. To teach you how to deal with it when you have a fraction as your coefficient. Basically, this is like doing the multiplication and the division at the same time. So let me show you how to do these. Well, Mr. Jennings, I don't know how to do those yet, but I do know that the first step is copying the question. Oh, very good. My top student has arrived. A minus 4 over 5a. Okay. You want to see the easy way? You flip the fraction and multiply. Watch this. I'm going to multiply this side by 5 over 4, but it's negative. And I'm going to multiply this by 5 over 4, but it's negative. Okay, that's all you do. That is all you do. Okay, watch this. 5 cancels 5, 4 cancels 4, and negative cancels negative. I want to review how we cancel these fractions, okay, because this goes back to multiplying and dividing fractions. Let's look at it again. We have 4 over 5 times 5 over 4, okay? So if a number lives both upstairs and downstairs, like this 5 living downstairs and that 5 living upstairs, they cancel. You have to live upstairs from your evil twin, then you cancel your evil twin. If you live upstairs and your evil twin lives downstairs, you cancel. This whole thing is equal to 1. okay, because everything canceled away. All right. If you had this situation, 4 over 5 multiplied by 4 over 5, don't you dare cancel. It is different than that. This is the evil twins living on the same floor. They get together and cause extra mischief. This is equal to 4 times 4 over 5 times 5. Ain't no cancels here. Okay, this is equal to 16 over 25. Notice that's a piece of pizza cut in 25 slices, and you only get 16 slices. That's a number very definitely not 1. You are not getting a whole pizza. Okay, let's carry on. So, what's next? What's next is to finish this problem. Oh my goodness. Well, see, we tidied this side up, so A is isolated. Hooray! But now we have to do this fraction multiplication over here. Not scary, don't worry, you just do it. Watch. I copy it out. Minus 5 over 4 multiplied by 6 over 1. Where'd the 1 come from? I am this many years old. 43 divided by 1. 43 over 1 is equal to 43. And we can go back and forth between these two forms if we need them. That's a pizza cut into one slice, not cut. And I have 43 such slices. That's a big pizza party. That's 43 whole pizzas. That's basically what I am, a big pizza party. Okay, so if I do this, negative 5 over 4 times 6 over 1, well, that's equal to negative 30 over 4, because I just multiply top times top over bottom times bottom. But then I notice both of these have a factor 2, so that's negative 15 over 2. Okay? I also do the cancellations this way. I cancel the factor 2 there, and I do 5 times 3 is 15, and 2 times 1 is 2. So, I'm sensing I'm losing some people who want this skill. So I'm going to try it again from the beginning. 6 equals negative 4 over 5a. Let's do the question fresh, as though we're starting it right from the beginning, folks. I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 over 4, but negative. Put that over 1 because I'm allowed to do that, and multiply by 5 over 4. Okay. Cancels, 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 cancels. Negative times a negative is positive. So I have isolated A in one step. Amazing. And then so I have A on that side. Negative 5 times 6 on top. So it's top times top over bottom times bottom. Negative 30 over 4. But then that simplifies to negative 15 over 2 is equal to A. We are done. That question. Negative 15 divided by 2. Yeah. So that's how those work. That is how those do. Okay. That's all the level 1 skill, but to be honest, if you can do them with the fraction ones, I'm going to crank you up to a level 2. Level 2 in our program is 2-step equations. And then again, if you can do it with fractions, I'm cranking you up another level. 2-step equations, this is the level 2 here. All right. So now we take a look at it. We want to find the number b that makes this equation true. And all you need to do is the same things you did 1 step, but now 2-step. And I'll give you some hints to make it easier. The first step is, you guessed it, copy the question onto a piece of paper. How many questions have I copied? And see, my hand is still attached. It will not fall off. Do not worry. Okay? Now, I have a mystery number b, and I really want to crack it open and find out what b is. That's what I want to isolate. My problem is I am dividing it by negative 5, and I'm subtracting negative 27 from it. My advice here is first work on your loose addition and subtraction. First do that. So the opposite of minus 27 is add 27. So I add 27 to both sides. Negative 21 plus 27 is equal to 6. And then I have this is all equal to 0, so it's gone. And I just have negative b over 5. And now I inverse operate that negative, divide by negative 5 away by multiplying both sides by negative 5. Okay? So when I multiply by negative 5, that cancels that. I've isolated b. Hooray. B is equal to 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. Let's see if they do it a different way or exactly the same way. I don't always do things exactly the same way as delta math, but when I do, they're two-step equations. Okay, so here, look. They add 27 to both sides. Beautiful. They found that negative b over 5 is equal to 6. Beautiful. We had the same thing. See, I'm reinforcing my learning with my eyebrows. You want to review the solutions and make sure that your eyebrows do the same dance. It helps your learning. All right. And then we multiply both sides by negative 5. Amazing. It's just amazing. All right, we better try a new one. Negative 27 is equal to negative 2 plus 5b. I add 2 to both sides. Negative 25 is equal to 5b. Divide both sides by 5. B is negative 5. What? What? He does them in his head? Yes, and you can too, if you just work at it. So let's go up here. We got some blank pages. Negative 27 is equal to negative 2 plus 5b. Get out an inverse operations pen. Add 2 to both sides. And then you're getting at negative 27 plus 2 is negative 25 is equal to, that's all 0, it gone. So we just have 5b over there. Now we get out your inverse operation pen, okay? Divide both sides by 5, and you get negative 5 is equal to b. Negative 25 divided by 5, I didn't know what it was, so I asked a calculator off screen, and it was minus 5. Minus 5. This was the calculator off screen, and I encourage you to use that calculator off screen whenever possible. It makes it more fun. What are our problem types here? Yeah, we've seen both problem types. This one here, I'll do it in my head. I'm gonna subtract 41 from both sides. 42 minus 41 is 1. So I have negative y over 9 is equal to 1. I multiply both sides by negative 9. Y is equal to negative 9. Oops. What was that? Yay. Let's do another. Okay. Negative 35 minus 2c equals minus 27. Add 35 to both sides because we're subtracting it from that side. Negative 27 plus 35 gives you 8. Now I divide both sides by negative 2. 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. Test it up there. It's indeed true. Hooray. So you want to have this as a mental math skill if you want to go to a high level. And it's more fun. It's more fun than doing it on paper. It's way more fun than trying to do it on a calculator. I don't think there's a way to really do it on a calculator. You kind of need help. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these. These are the same, but that trick I showed you with fractions, like you want to go to the academic level, you want this. This is a skill you want. Okay, so here. Copy it out. 2 minus 3 over 8x equals 14. First thing I'm going to do is subtract 2 from both sides. Okay, so that I get negative 3 over 8x is equal to 12. Okay, now I go ahead, get out my inverse operations pen because this one's properly tricky, and I multiply both sides by negative 8 over 3. I just flip the fraction, keep the sign, and multiply because that's going to cancel that, that's going to cancel that, and the negatives, two negatives multiply, make a positive. X is isolated. Okay, 12 divides 3 and makes 4, so I can cancel there. 4 times negative 8, x equals negative 32. Okay, that's how those are done. Let's look through their solution, because I was skipping some steps there. I recognize I was going a little fast. They start with exactly the same thing I did. They get there, same place. Oh, they do it in 2 steps. They do it in 2 steps. I'd like you to learn to do it in 1 step, but you can do it in 2 steps. Watch. They multiply both sides by negative 8 so that you get 8 canceling 8, and this is now positive 3x. 3x there, right? 12 times negative 8 is negative 96, and then you divide both sides by 3, you get x is minus 32. My way is faster. Their way is fine. It's just fine, everybody. It's fine. But they called it 1-step equations earlier, and that's 2 steps. Who cares? Nobody. Okay, let's try one of these hard ones. Hard ones. These are just a fraction workout. And why do we need fractions workouts? because y'all ain't good at fractions yet, but you want to be because they show up all over the place, particularly in the academic stream, but you're going to see them in the applied stream as well. So you want to learn how to do these, but to be honest, these are combining so many skills, they're pretty tricky. Don't get too fussed if these are hard, because they can be hard. Okay, so first step, let's get out my inverse operations pen. I'm going to add 5/6 to both sides. I'm going to deal with the loose addition and subtraction first. So I'm going to add 5/6 to that side. 5/6 minus 2/3. Well, I need a common denominator. That's like 5/6 minus 4/6, because I multiply this top and bottom by 2 to create a common denominator. And that's equal to 1 over 8y. You see, this part is now 0. So that just comes down. All right. 5/6 minus 4/6 is 1/6 equals 1 over 8y. Now, we just multiply both sides by 8. Okay, that'll cancel that. Y is isolated, 1y. Okay, 8 times 1/6, 8 over 6 equals y. 4 over 3, reduce your fraction, equals y. Let's take a look at delta math steps. They added 5/6 to both sides. 2 over 2 is equivalent to 1. See how they create their common denominator here. I did the same thing, 1/6. Then they multiply both sides by 8 over 1 to cancel 1 over 8. Sure. I mean, you could just multiply by 8. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same. I multiply by 8. 8 over 6 simplifies to 4 over 3. Beautiful. Why does 8 over 6 simplify to 4 over 3? You might ask. 8 can be written as 4 times 2. 6 can be written as 3 times 2. 2 divided by 2 will cancel. So that's done. All right. Now, you wanted to see me do one in my head, right? I add 2/3 to both sides. No, I subtract 2/3 from both sides. C is 0. That was easy. Yeah, no problem. You want to see me do a harder one? Okay. I add 1/4 to both sides. Sorry, I subtract 1/4 from both sides. So I get negative 1/2 on that other side. And then I multiply by 12 over 5. So z is negative 6 over 5. You can train to do these in your head. Your head's not much different than my head. My head has had much more practice than your head. So get your practice. Do it on paper so that you can then do it in your head. Now, I can hear many of you being like, we want the 3 stars. We want 3-step equations. Here is what 3-step equations will look like. We're back to the world of not with fractions. Great. So let's go over here, get ourselves some blank paper, and guess what the first step is, everyone? Copy it out. Negative 12x plus 2 equals negative 9x plus 5. Now, we have choices, okay? Here's the situation we are facing. We don't have x in only one place. We have x's here, and we have x's here. Moreover, we got numbers in both places. Guess what, folks? We got numbers there and numbers there. That's weird, right? That's like saying you've seen me do this lesson, I bet, unless you were absent that day. If I've got elephant over here plus 1,000 pounds, actually, let's make that 2 elephants. 2 elephants on that side of the scale plus 1,000 pounds is equal to 1 elephant plus 3,000 pounds. That's like 2e plus 1,000 equals e plus 3,000. Why'd you put weights on both sides? Why'd you put elephants on both sides? First, take 1 elephant off of each side. Get all your elephants to one side. So now I only have 1 elephant. That was the equivalent of subtract e from both sides. Subtract 1 elephant. Okay? And then, how about we get rid of this weight and that weight? So we're going to subtract 1,000 from both sides. And that gives us single e left over. E equals 2,000 pounds. So you get all your elephants on one side, all your numbers on the other. We're going to do the same thing here. I am going to choose to send my x's that way. And how do I do that? I'm going to add 9x. That gets all my x's to one side of the equation. So I have to add 9x to both sides. Negative 12x plus 9x. That there be 3x, but negative. And then I still have plus 2 equals 5. This 5's still there. It just comes down. Now I want to get all my numbers to one side. So let's go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides. That will give us negative 3x. That's still there, is equal to, this is gone. So it's alone on that side, is equal to 5 minus 2, 3. Okay, then divide both sides by minus 3. 3 divided by minus 3 is equal to, x is equal to negative 1. Let's look at their steps. Oh, they did it in an opposite way, but it's the same thing. First, they moved their numbers to one side. Then they moved their x's to the other side. Okay, good for them. Then they got negative 3x is equal to 3. We got that too. And the negative 3x divided by negative 3 is just x. 3 divided by negative 3 is just negative 1. And that's the what we're looking for is the value of x that makes that true. Let's look at another one. Solve for x. Okay. Guess what the first step is? Find a blank piece of paper. The second step is copy it out. 11x plus 2 equals 8x plus 26. We can choose to send our x's and numbers at the same time. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. Okay? I'm subtracting from the whole side of the equation. I just line it up with the like terms. Notice we have to use our collect like terms skills here. 11x minus 8x leaves me with 3x. 26 minus 2 leaves me with 24. Okay? This is 0, gone. This is 0, gone. And I did it in one line. Now I divide both sides by 3 to find that x equals 8. And then I can check it in the original equation. Of course we can do that. Watch. I rewrite the equation. 11x plus 2 equals 8x plus 26. Sure, let's try it. X is equal to 8. Don't mind if I do. 11 times 8 plus 2 equals 8 times 8 plus 26. Let's see if that's true before we submit it to Delta Math. 11 times 8 is 88 because my times tables tell me so. Plus 2, 8 times 8 is 64 because my times tables tell me to. And we still have the plus 26. Just do bedness, multiplication first, right? 88 plus 2, 90. 64 plus 26, 90. 90 equals 90 on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, and even Sundays. It never quits. So x is 8. Yay! We don't need to see another example. Now, the level 4 skill for this skill, I think people can get this one. This one is not so bad. This one is pretty cool. It's doing this when there's distribution involved. So let's go. All you do when there's distribution involved is copy out the question first. 3 times 2z minus 10 and the bracket equals 30. You'll learn something by copying the question. Next, we actually just simplify. Apply the distributive property. 6z minus 30 equals 30. Now, add 30 to both sides. Now it's a two-step equation. 6z equals 60. Now we divide both sides by 6. To cancel, cancel. Z equals 10. Wow. Let's see how they did it. Okay, they distribute. They don't distribute with fancy looking arrows. I like fancy looking arrows before, but better, but we get that. Okay. They added 30 to both sides. We did the same thing. They divided both sides by 6. We did the same thing. We got the same answer. Cool. All right. Let's go back. We'll do another more difficult example. Ooh, more difficult. Let's try. Copy the question. 2 times 5x minus 2 minus 2x minus 2 equals one of my favorite numbers, 34. Let's try it. Simplify. Distribute, meaning we multiply both of the things inside the brackets by 2. 2 times 5x is 2 times 5 times x, which is 10x. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Minus 2x is a thing we can do. Minus 2 is a thing we can do, and that's equal to 34. All those things just come down. Now, these are like terms. 10x minus 2x gives us 8x. Minus 4 minus 2 is minus 6 equals 34. So with these, we just tidy up. We play Marie Kondo until we get to there. If you don't know who Marie Kondo is, Google her. She's amazing. All right. And then we just solve this two-step equation. Add 6 to both sides. We're going to add 6 to both sides. We get 8x is equal to 40. And then we divide both sides by 8. X is 5. And then we could check it in the original. But I'm not going to because I'm just so confident. Yay, let's see what they did. They distribute to the terms in the parentheses. They collected like terms. We got the same thing. Then they add 2 to both sides. Then they divide both sides by 8. Same exact process. Amazing. Let's try level 3. Level 3 looks like this. Minus 5 minus negative 2x minus 8 equals negative x minus 6. Oh my goodness, we got x's on both sides. We've got distribution of a negative. We get to review so many of our skills, everyone. So many of our skills. Minus 5x minus 2x minus 8 equals minus x minus 6. Let's go. First thing, distribute this negative. Means it flips the signs of both of those things. Minus 5x, we didn't do nothing to that. Plus 2x, we flip the sign. Plus 8 equals negative x minus 6. We can't do anything to that because they're not like terms. We don't know what x is, so we can't put it together with 6 yet. All right, now we collect these like terms. Minus 5 of something plus 2 of something. Well, that's minus 3 of that thing. Plus 8 equals minus x minus 6. We got ourselves a 3-step equation. Here's what we do. We get out an inverse operations pen. We can add x to both sides. Why am I adding x? Because I was subtracting it there. So that will go to 0. And then I'm going to minus 8 to both sides because I know that's going to send the numbers this way and send the x's that way. Okay, I create 0 with 1 on one side and 0 with the other on the other side. Bring that down. Yeah, we're going down. Minus 3x plus x is minus 2x is equal to, because that's 0, so ain't nothing else on that side of the equation. This is 0, so we just got minus 8 minus 6 is minus 14. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x is 7. Cancels, cancels. My calculator tells me that's 7. Or you could absolutely sub that into the equation and see if it's right. Great, so that's the level 4 skill. Mr. Jennings, I still want to stretch and go further. I want higher level skills. Try these. I give these as challenge problems in grade 9 math classes. You get the same challenge problems. I give even harder ones than this. This one you can still do. Okay. I'll show you how to do these. Hooray. Copy it out. You'll never believe it. 5 equals, I'm going to give myself some space here because I'm going to do a trick. 7 over 2 times 3x plus 2. Here, I'm going to actually do a trick. I'm not going to distribute that in. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 over 7. Okay, that's going to cancel that, and remove a whole bunch of fraction operations from this. Okay, so now that's all canceled. And my next line looks like 10 over 7, because that's the result of that multiplication. 2 times 5 over 7 times 1, 10 over 7, is equal to 3x plus 2. Now I want to get that 2 across, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Notice that minus 14 over 7 is the same thing as minus 2. So 10 minus 14 over 7 is negative 4 over 7 is equal to 3x. Divide both sides by 3 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/3. So we get negative 4 over 21 equals x. Woo! That was a nasty one. Nasty, with nasty numbers, with no simplifications. Hooray. You want to see me do one in my head, don't you? You don't believe that I can do one in my head, do you? Okay, watch me go. Watch me nay-nay. 20 over 3. Watch me do another. Negative 3. Watch me do another. $18 over 5. Hey! So I'm not doing anything different than what they're doing here. I can just keep track of it in my head. Oh, no, wait, no. They're distributing in. That'd be too hard for me. I would struggle with that. I do the trick of multiplying to get rid of that fraction first. But anyway, yeah, I just do it the same way I do it on paper. I do it on my mental whiteboard. And that's a cool way to do these. It is way more fun than doing it on paper because it's a neat challenge. So train yourself on paper. See if you can do that in your head. If you can do this in your head, man, we're sending you to grade 10. Oh my goodness, you go to grade 10. Have that skill. Yeah. All right. Any questions about this stuff? Absolutely any questions. Hit me up by email. Find me in class. Ask your classmates. Ask your teachers. Look at the Delta Math solutions. Find some help. Get these skills. Show me these skills. We send you to grade 10. All right. Bye for now, everybody.